moving on now, a Senate subcommittee is expected to hold a hearing to discuss the Department of Homeland Security's responsibilities once migrants cross the southern border illegally into the U.S., with migrants coming from over 150 different countries over the past 2+ years of Joe Biden's presidency. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford is warning that, quote, an unsecure border is an open door for allowing terrorists into the country.
And the senator is joining us now for reaction. Senator, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Take us through the current process in which someone crosses the border illegally right now.
Yeah, that's actually one of the big questions that we have, because there are so many variables in this process. If you cross at a port of entry and you've contacted the administration ahead of time using the CBP One app, you're giving parole, you're released out in the country, you're given a job, an opportunity to be able to get a job, a work permit within a month, and you're released out. If you cross between the ports of entry, you're treated a different way, but you're still released out into the country. If you're a minor, if you're an adult, if you're a family, there seems to be all these different ways they're doing it. But ultimately, we have 6 million people that have now crossed the border just in the last 3 years under the Biden administration. And we have all these different pathways, but they all lead towards the interior of the country. And they are deporting a very, very small number, 6 million in. This year, they've deported about 100,000.
So, Senator, I guess I'm just a little confused. People have been crossing the southern border for a long time now. This is nothing new, although the record numbers that we're seeing under President Biden, that is something we've never seen before. Was there a process in place, say, during the Trump years, a streamlined process for what happens when somebody crosses the southern border illegally and is then apprehended?
Yes, there certainly was. There was under the Obama administration as well. If we take a single year under the Biden administration, it includes more than 4 years under the Obama administration of how many people are crossing the border. So this is unprecedented with the number, but it's also the Biden administration has been very focused on facilitating people actually getting into the country and then saying show up at a hearing now a long time from now. Under the Trump administration, you'd cross the border. You would actually have a hearing that would be set up quickly, or they would have remain in Mexico, and so you'd have to wait your turn to be able to actually have your hearing time. And so they would get an asylum hearing, and then they'd be turned around, because the vast majority of people don't qualify for asylum. They're trying to come for a job opportunity. I don't blame them. It's the greatest country in the world. I don't blame anyone in the world wanting to come, but you have to come the legal way. Biden is facilitating illegal immigration. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, big difference there. The Department of Homeland Security is also getting some attention from the House Oversight Committee. Congressman James Comer issuing a subpoena to Alejandro Mayorkas and other DHS officials for allegedly blocking key information in the Hunter Biden investigation. Walk us through what's going on here.
So what they're trying to get is information about where individuals actually tipped off, or through DHS and through others, where they tipping off the Hunter Biden legal team and Hunter Biden himself to be able to let them know they were about to have this investigation actually occur. Yeah. That's basic information. Everyone should be able to get that information, access to it. This has been an issue with the Biden administration and with DHS in particular. When I ask for information from them, it takes them months and months and months to be able to turn it over when we all know that information is there. The story gets worse the longer that they hold out on it. It is better if they go ahead and just release this information now, because we know it exists. Release it now, and so we can get a chance to take a look at it.
Senator, is there an appetite for impeachment in the Senate?
Well, obviously, it's got to come from the House first. That's where it all originates from. If you're talking about
but it'll come from the House. If we could see a vote there, then it would end up in the Senate.
About how do we do oversight? How do we actually oversee what is actually occurring? The House has to make that first decision, though.
You know what I think is fascinating, Senator, is that the Secret Service is the one that's being accused of tipping off the Hunter team to this interview with law enforcement. And it seems like the Secret Service has been carrying the water for the Biden administration for a while. It was 10 weeks ago Sunday that cocaine was discovered at the White House. We still have no idea who brought cocaine into the White House. The Secret Service basically ended their investigation seemingly before it started. They didn't come up with a single name as a possible suspect. I want to play you a video and just get your reaction. This is Joe Biden yesterday. There was a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House. These are very common. 81-year-old Captain Larry Taylor fought bravely and heroically during the Vietnam War, saved 4 lives. And Joe Biden just seemingly walked out of the ceremony. The press was looking at him. People in the crowd were looking at him. The ceremony then continued without him. This recipient, Captain Taylor, was crying on stage. In fact, he wiped his eyes at one point because he was overtaken by the emotion. What do you make of that move by the president?
hard to be able to read what he was thinking there. Let me first congratulate Captain Taylor. That's a very big deal to have a Medal of Honor recipient there. That's a huge sacrifice that he personally made and put his own life on the line to be able to save the life of others. So congratulations to him for being honored there. But for President Biden, he struggled to actually get the medal. If you've seen the video on it, struggled to be able to get the medal on him. And then he just walks off stage. So we don't know what was in his mind at that point and why he didn't remain for the rest of the ceremony, as you would typically do.
Do you have questions about him, Senator? Wall Street Journal says that over 70% of Americans say Joe Biden's too old to run for president again. Do you have questions about where he is cognitively? I mean, right there walking out, he looked like the absent-minded professor. He was not supposed to walk out at that moment. He didn't look like he knew where he was going or what he was doing. He just left.
I have questions about his policies. I have questions about the direction. Obviously, I have questions like everyone else could be about his health issues because I watch the same thing everyone else does.
Yeah.
This is the individual that our country has tapped to say when there's a 3 a.m. phone call in the emergency that happens, this is the person who takes it and makes a rapid decision.
Yeah.
The American people will get to decide this in about a year and a half, and we're all eager for that moment.
14 months away, Senator. Great to see you this morning. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford.